The first snow came like a warning. It drifted down over the plains in slow, silent flakes that caught in the fur of the great beasts and melted against the dark stones. The tribe moved through the whitened world with heads bowed, their breath pluming like smoke. They had followed the herds north too long, and now the herds were gone, vanished beyond the ridges where the wind howled like a living thing. Hunger crept into every body, dulling the eyes, thinning the children's cries. Kale walked at the front, his spear heavy in his hand, his face set in the hard patience of a hunter who has run out of faith but not duty. His tribe, fewer than 20 souls now, looked to him because there was no one else. Vara, the old shaman, limped beside him, wrapped in a hide patched so many times it looked like a map of scars. "The snow is early," Vara said. Kyle didn't answer. He could taste the air, metal and ice. Behind them, the youngest stumbled, and a mother hissed to keep the child moving. Kyle stopped at the ridge, scanning the white horizon. Somewhere beyond the hills lay the frozen river. If they reached it, there might be fish trapped in the shallows or the bones of something dead to scrape clean. He motioned onward. No one spoke. The crunch of their steps was the only sound. By dusk, the wind sharpened to knives. They built a poor camp beneath a rock overhang, lighting the last of their dry wood. The fire sputtered, smoke stinging their eyes. Kyle sat apart, gnawing a strip of frozen meat so tough it hurt his teeth. Vara settled beside him. "You cannot feed them with strength alone," the old man murmured. Kale's jaw worked, but he said nothing. "They follow you," Vara went on. "Not because you are strongest, though you are, but because you have not yet broken." Kyle spat the taste of blood into the snow. "What else is there?" Vara's eyes gleamed faintly in the firelight. "Something older than strength, something that even beasts do not have." Kyle frowned, but Vara only looked into the flames as if speaking to them. "When the time comes, you will know it." The storm grew worse. Days blurred into a grey, endless struggle against cold and emptiness. 2 of the elders died quietly in the night. The tribe burned their belongings for fuel and moved on at dawn without ceremony. Kyle carried one of the children on his shoulders, feeling its ribs against his neck. He told himself they would find food soon, though he no longer believed it. Then, on the 5th day, they found tracks, massive, deep, leading toward a ravine. A mammoth, maybe wounded or old. The tribe's pulse quickened. Hunger woke like fire in their eyes. Kale signaled for silence. They followed the trail through twisted trees and frozen brush until they saw it. A great bull mammoth, half lame, tusk cracked and bleeding. Around it hovered the smell of death and the sound of breath thick with pain. The beast turned, trumpeting weakly. Kyle lifted his spear. For a heartbeat, everything went still. The hunt was chaos. The mammoth charged, snow exploding under its feet. Spears flew. One shattered, another struck shallow. Kale ran alongside the flank, dodging the trunk's sweep. He drove his spear into the wound near the shoulder, felt the weapon jar deep, felt the creature's bellow through his bones. It stumbled, bled, fell to its knees, and the tribe surged in with cries of victory and terror mingled. When it was over, the valley was quiet except for the beast's dying rumble and the ragged panting of the hunters. Kale stood over the mammoth as steam rose from its body. He felt no triumph, only relief edged with sorrow. Vara approached slowly, touching the creature's tusk. "It gave its life so we may live," he said. Kale stared at the old man. "It had no choice." Vara's hand lingered on the bone. "Neither do we, not yet." They fed for days. For the first time in weeks, the tribe laughed. Children ran, bellies round with meat. Kale watched them, and felt something like warmth stir in him. He spent nights by the carcass, carving tusk into tools, and sometimes he would look into the dark beyond the fire and think of the mammoth's eyes, how they had looked before death, not wild, but weary, aware. He wondered if beasts understood more than the tribe believed. When the meat began to spoil, they moved again, heavier but hopeful. Then came the raid. It happened without warning at dawn. Figures rushing out of the mist, shouting, wielding stone clubs and spears tipped with obsidian. The Red Hands! They struck the camp fast, killing 2 hunters before Kale's tribe could form a line. Kale lunged into the fray, his axe cracking against bone. The air filled with the stink of blood and smoke. He fought not for glory, but to stop the screams behind him. One of the attackers, broad, scarred, wearing a necklace of teeth, charged at him. They grappled in the snow, breath and fury mixing. Kale slammed his elbow into the man's jaw, took a blow to his ribs, felt something snap. Then he found his axe again and brought it down. The Red Hand fell, When the attackers finally fled, they left 5 of Kale's people dead. The survivors gathered in silence, numb. Vara bound Kale's ribs and said, "We cannot stay here. They will return." Kyle looked at the bodies, then at the horizon. He knew Vara was right. They burned the dead to keep the beasts away and moved on through the grey light. That night, as they camped by the frozen river, Kale sat apart again, watching the reflection of the moon in the ice. He remembered the face of the red hand he had killed, the fear in it, the same as his own, when he'd thought he might die. He did not understand why it lingered in his mind. He should have felt nothing, yet he felt too much. It gnawed at him, the question of what it meant. When Vara came to sit beside him, Kale asked, "Why do they fight us? There is room enough for all." Vara's breath smoked in the air. "They see us as we see them. Hunger does not know mercy," Kale's voice dropped. "And if we were the same, why did I let one live?" Vara's eyes turned to him sharply. "You spared one?" Kyle nodded. "He crawled away after the first attack. I could have ended him. I did not." Vara was silent a long time. Then he said, "That is what I spoke of, the thing older than strength. You felt it." Kale shook his head. "It felt like weakness." "No," Vara said softly. "It felt like sight.